And this is Luke chapter 21, verse 37 through to verse 6. It says, "Now during the day he was teaching in the temple, but at evening he would go out and spend the night on the mount that is called Olivet. And all the people would get up early in the morning to come to him in the temple to listen to him. Now the feast of unleavened bread, which is called the Passover, was approaching. The chief priests and the scribes were seeking how they might put him to death, for they were afraid of the people. And Satan entered into Judas, who was called Iscariot, belonging to the number of the 12. And he went away and discussed with the chief priests and officers how he might betray him to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him money. So he consented and began seeking a good opportunity to betray him to them apart from the crowd." This is Luke. He's kind of setting the scene a little bit. Jesus is teaching in the temple, and there's temple courts, I think. It's a lovely note here that Jesus would go up onto the Mount of Olives, the mount called Olivet, and no doubt he would sleep a little and pray a little, but then he would go to the temple courts again and he would teach all the people, and all the people would get up early in the morning to come to him in the temple and listen to him. I don't know whether perhaps it was before the Pharisees and the chief priests were up, but Jesus was up there early in the morning preaching and teaching to these probably thousands of people who were coming out to see him. And the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover, was also approaching. And the chief priests and the scribes, they were seeking for a way to kill Jesus before the Passover meal, before the Passover festival. And it says here, and then Satan entered into Judas, who was called Iscariot. He was of the 12, and he went away and discussed with the chief priests and officers how he might betray him to them. And they were glad and they agreed to give him money. Heart motivation of Judas was to get the money. He'd been helping himself to the money bags, that he kept on behalf of the ministry, and he got greedy. And he saw this was an opportunity for him to make a bit more money, to betray this one who all his friends loved, and to get some money out of the chief priests. And they were glad. And so he consented and began seeking a good opportunity to betray him to them apart from the crowd, so the crowd wouldn't know what was going on. And we, as the story unfolds, we see how this happened, and Judas did ultimately betray the Lord Jesus into the hands of the chief priests.